Okay, shalom, shalom, rabotai. All right, so let's start with Pirkei Avot. We are holding in the fifth Perek, Mishna. Where are we holding? We saw Mishna Yud Gimel. Arba midos ba'adam. There are 4 midos in a person. Number 1, ha'omer shali shali, v'shelcha shalach. If somebody says, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours, sounds fair. That is zu mida zayvin lebeininus. This is a mida of a middle ground person, somebody who is not a good guy, not a bad guy. This is regular. What's mine is mine. What's yours is yours. Let's. And there are those that say that this is midas sudaim. So why exactly is this midas sudaim? Because it's saying what's mine is mine, and I'm not letting you have anything from it. Even if I don't stand to lose, I don't want to give you. So the first malach understands that you weren't going that far, even if I don't have what to lose. I'm not going out of my way to help you. You don't go out of your way to help me. Fine. And so you don't have to do chesed every time. But the second man the Amr holds, Zumi das Sudaim, because it's talking, either it's going to come to it, or it's talking about a case where you say, what's mine is mine, and I'm not letting you have anything from it, even if I don't stand to lose. That's Sudaim. Sudaim means a person who society is lehed you out, not to allow, lehed you out, each man for himself. And chas v'shalom to break that. Because if a person, there's no reason in Svara to say that you can't use my driveway if I'm not using it. Now, if you have a reason, you don't want people, whatever, but the pastor says there's no reason. So then that's called midas sudaim. And there, society will completely fall apart if it's each man for himself. And that's exactly what happened in Sudaim. Eventually, they enacted insane rules that that we know from Parshas Vayera, Chayesara. So that and eventually they were destroyed. So what's the pshat? Because once we say that each man for himself on society, then society is going to crumble. As an aside, the word sodomy refers to an act of relation that is one-sided, because generally the act of relations, the sexual act, is 2 people gaining, and I'm giving and I'm getting, and it's an act of 2 people. Whereas sodomy is only beneficial. Now you might agree that I'll do it to you, you do it to me afterwards, okay? But in the act itself, there's no reciprocatal giving, and therefore it is from Sudaim, where it's every man for himself. Shali shalach, v'shalcha shali. A guy says, what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. Now, that sounds actually more idiotic than zu am haaretz, but what it actually means is that, no, it means fair trade. I'll give you, I'm a carpenter, I'll help you, and you are a physician, you'll help me. We'll each help each other. This will be society. That is an am haaretz. Why? Because what is an am haaretz? An am haaretz is a person who thinks that he has it. He's got the mahalach, I'm going to save the world, this makes sense, we're going to do this. But there's no das Torah. This is such an important Mishnah for today's day. People think that they know what they're talking about. And it's a mefurish Mishnah that says that you don't do that. You should just try to give, because soinim matanas yichya. You shouldn't try to take. The correct mahalach would be shalcha shalcha v'shali shalcha. I'm prepared to give to you, but I don't want to take from you, because no matter what happens if I take from you, I'm eventually going to be meshubah to you. The Brisker Rav famously said the most expensive things in life are the ones that you take for free. Because for the rest of your life, you're meshubah to the guy. So he's just paraphrasing the Mishnah, the pasuk in Mishlei that says, soinim matanas yichya. The point of the Mishnah is that an am haaretz is somebody who thinks that he has the mahalach, and it's true. If you give me, I'll give you. We'll both be fair. It'll be fair trade. Says the Rav that Lamaisa, he's missing a pasuk. He doesn't have the das Torah. So he's an am haaretz. He's not a bad guy. It's an okay mahalach in the world, and afal pikein, it's not good. That's an am haaretz's mahalach. The next malach is shali shalach v'shalcha shalcha v'shalcha shalach. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is yours. Meaning, I'm going to be out to help, and I'm not looking to take. That is the best malach, a chassid. Somebody who goes around the world and he tries to go ahead and take things, and he tries to go ahead and be a giver. If the only reason you're getting involved in society is because you want a reciprocal relationship and you want to gain from society, then you're bound for extreme frustration. You're not going to get thank yous. You're not going to get. If you're out to give, then you'll be happy. And the more you give, the happier you become. And tried and true. Of course, everybody likes to get thanks, but that can't be the reason you're doing it. And finally, shalcha shali v'shali shali, somebody who says that everything is for me, it's even worse, so that is taka a flat out Russia. I'm only working for myself, and anything I can get from somebody else, society, handouts, I'm going to take. V'chulu v'chulu. That is a Russia. Okay. Yudalit. Arba midas b'deis. There are 4 types of mannerisms in people. 4 types of noyach lichois v'noyach lirtzois. Somebody who's easily angered but easily calmed down. Says the Gemara. Yatsa schara behev seidei. His gain, the fact that he's very easy to pacify, is lost out by the fact that he's very easily angered. Meaning, well, let's see the next one and then we'll explain it. If it's very hard for him to get angry, but at the same time, once he gets angry, forget about it. He's going to carry that grudge well into his grave. He's going to lose more than the loss is outweighed by the gain. It's better to be this type of person. So the Mishna is not saying if you're a tzaddik, if you're a Rasha. There are 2 types of people. There are those type of people here. There are those type of people here. This guy has a loss and has a gain. This guy has a gain that has a loss. This guy's gain outweighs his loss. This guy's loss outweighs his gain. And what's better? Says the Mishnah, it's better the second way. Why? Because there are far, far more cases that you will be easily inflamed than you will be inflamed and hard to get time to get over it. Any single day, a person could get angry 15, 20 times. Somebody scratches your car, you get a red light. Your wife says something nasty. Your kids left something on the front lawn, and you tripped on it. The newspaper boy didn't throw the newspaper. Your internet's thing is slow. Your Microsoft Word is acting up. You can get angry 15, 20 times a day if it's easy for you to get angry. The fact that it's easy for you to get over it is still your kids are scared to say anything. Everybody's scared of you because you have this famous temper, and Mamela, even though you're right, you happen to be a nice guy most of the day because you're very easy. Like the internet's acting up. Oh, I'm gonna punch this computer, and then 2 seconds later it works. Like, oh, okay, fine, no problem. And you're happy as you're fine 2 seconds later. It doesn't matter. The fact that you are getting angry so many times a day, even though it's a flash of anger, the Maisa, you lose out. Masha Enkin, you have this other guy who, once you have a grudge, is forget about it. But how often does that happen? So the Mishnah says his nature of not getting angry so quickly is better than the other nature. Now the Mishnah finishes off that if you have 2 other midas, a guy who it's hard to get angry, but it's easy to pacify, he's a good guy, he's a chassid. And a guy who's hard to get angry, is easy to get angry and hard to pacify, he's a Russia. So I have a shayla. What do you mean he's a Russia? Nobody's born a Russia. If that's his midah, that's his midah. He has to work. I'm saying he has to go. Well, that's not fair. You can't call him a Russia. And the other guy is a chassid. That's who he was. You have these nerdy kids who they're happy with everything. Nobody ever gets them upset. As soon as so fine. So why is he a chassid? That's a cheap. That's so unfair. Additionally, the first 2 midas, it didn't say who's better, who's worse. The first 2 midas, it says this is a schar. That's it. I'm saying somech teisi. And just to add on to the kashas, the next Mishnah is going to say this is a good portion, this is a bad portion. That's what I wanted to say over here. This is a midah, this is a poor man. What can you do? This is the lot that Hashem gave him. He was very inflammable and he's very hard to get over. He's got this grudgy nature. So what can you do? So he has to work on it. So you're right. He won't run for president, or maybe actually he will run for president. But you have this different people who go ahead and he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's not a good guy. Why? It doesn't pass to call him a Russia or a chassid. So I think the answer is as follows. By nature, it's you can't have somebody who by nature easily gets angry. He's the flammable type, and he doesn't easily get over it. There's no such thing. And the same thing, it doesn't work the other way either. You can't have somebody who it's hard to get angry and it's easy to, it doesn't run together. By nature, if you're easily angry, then by nature you should easily be able to get over it. That's just if you're fast to anger, so that means you have that fire personality, then you should be easily pacified. And if you're hard to get angry, you're this rock, nobody can change you. But once you're changed, nobody can change you back either. That's just a mahalach. So really, there are two types of people. You have these types who are easily angered and these who are hard angered, but they run together. Either you're easily changed or you're not easily changed. Only through life and training yourself can you become a person who's always easily angered, and you sustain that anger in yourself. You go ahead and you change yourself to become not only my easily angered, but I sustain that anger. That's a Russia. You changed yourself to go ahead and allow that anger to fester in you. Everybody gets angry, but your job on this world is not to react to that anger. A person can get a flash of anger. You're walking downstairs and suddenly you step on a piece of Lego, goes straight up your toe. You're like, there it is, the last time I'm giving those kids toys. And you rage against them for 20 minutes. Now, everybody gets angry. Your job is to take a deep breath and say, I'm legitimately angry right now, but I'm not going to react on it. I'm going to trust that it was from Hashem. I'm legitimately angry right now. I'm not going to react on it. I trust that it was from Hashem. Say it 10 times and you won't be angry. But that's your job. If you're a person who flashes to anger, so then you have to control and make sure it doesn't sustain. That's within your grasp. Not getting angry might not be within your grasp, but sustaining and not allowing it to sustain is within your grasp. And if you don't do that, then you're Russia, because that was biyadcha. Adarabba. You have 2 seconds later, if somebody makes a joke, you'll be over it like that. Because that's your nature. The nature is to get over things. You can't have both natures unless you train yourself. And the same thing is fakert. If a guy is this rock and it's very hard to get him angry, but finally once he gets angry, he doesn't get over it. So then, he can train himself one way or the other, but you can also train yourself to get over it quickly. You could change your nature. Somebody who changes his nature and doesn't get angry b'chlal, that's a chassid. So everybody has a little bit of anger in them. Everybody has to know how to react to it and know how to go ahead and train themselves to become a chassid. You're not born a chassid and you're not born a Russia. Somebody who's always angry and sustains that anger, that's because he had a terrible teenage years with bad midas, and he trained himself to become an angry person and sustain that anger. And somebody who is a great person, it's impossible to anger him. He's always happy. And if he ever does get angry, he forgives you in a second. That means he worked on himself. He's a chassid. So, but everybody's born somewhere in the middle, and you have to train yourself to become a chassid. And if you don't, you train yourself the other way, that's a Russia. That's the pshat in this Mishna. Tezvav, Arba Midas B'Talmidim. There are 4 types of Talmidim. Mahir Lishmayo, Mahir La'abed. Quick to understand, but quick to forget. Yatzischar Be'ev Seidei. It's a midah. What can you do? You lose out. Kasha Lishmayo V'Kasha La'abed. Hard to understand. But once you get it, forget it. You're going to be remembering that. Like, remember the time? Like, no. I honestly don't. So, Yatza have said this type of person, he loses out. But it's schar. His reward is that he's going to remember whatever he gets. Somebody who forgets, who understands things quickly and doesn't forget it, he's a good. Here it doesn't say you're a chassid. Because your attack has nothing to do with if you're a chassid. This is not in your control. One's IQ, one's verstehing, one's understanding, one's remembering is all siyata d'shmaya, depending on how you're born. And kasha l'shmaya, mahir la'abed, a guy who, this is somebody who is very hard for him to understand and very quickly forgets it, that's chelik ra. I remember once I had to tutor a kid, and unbelievable how kasha l'shmaya he was, how hard of understanding he was. And I remember, it was unbelievable. And for a whole night, for an hour, I gave him again and again, explaining it to him, the most basic. I can't even tell you how basic. And I was like, every time I ask you the following questions, say these words, and nothing went in. Finally, after an hour's worth, we got to absolute basic, literally on the level of this is an aleph, this is a base. I'm telling you. And the next night we come in. Efes, nothing. You didn't remember a thing. We learned last night. So this is kosher l'shmaya. So now the guy's the Mishna says he's a Russia. He's not a Russia. He is a chelik ra. So now, does that mean he shouldn't learn? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean he shouldn't learn. It does mean it's a hard chelik. Now, what does a hard chelik mean? That means he's less in Shemayim. Now we know that's absolutely nothing to be true. There's nothing. It's not true at all. I'll explain you, and it's very important for Shavuos to understand this. The Iker mitzvah of Torah is not the multitude of how much you learn. The Iker mitzvah of Torah is oisik b'Torah. When you're oisik b'Torah, that is how you connect to Hashem. You see, the Ramchal explains, what does it mean that Torah? How is it possible that if you learn Shor Shenagach Hasapara, you attach yourself to Hashem? Is Hashem a para? Is Hashem a shor? Fashteitzach not. The teretz is, Hashem created the world, and He created the Torah by putting the Torah itself has are like little pills. It's not, like we've explained many times, the Torah is not another chachma. The Torah is attachments to Hashem. When you eat a piece of Torah, you are in effect eating a pill of Hashem. And the more you're oisik in that, so now does it matter if you're oisik in a Reb Aaron, and in the Mishna of Aaron, you're seeing how it stims, it's mamish, like incredible stick of Torah, your brain is popping, or does it matter if you're trying to figure out if Makas comes before Sanhedrin or after Sanhedrin and you can't remember? Benkach, you're eating a pill that has Hashem in it. So it doesn't matter what you're learning. So long as you're learning and being oisik in it. The harder you're working on it, the more you're bringing that pill into your mind. It doesn't matter what you're doing. So now in Shemayim, it just depends on effort. It really doesn't matter. So why is it called the chelik ra b'chlal? Who cares chelik ra? The answer is because at the same time, you want to have a geshmak in the learning. You want to go ahead. So therefore, if you have a guy who chaps everything and the brilliance of Torah and it's so geshmak, v'chulu v'chulu, so then it's easier to work in Torah and to get immediate pleasure from it, and it will continue. That's why it's a chelik toiv. But if you have the tenacity to go ahead and keep reviewing, this is an aleph, this is a base, this is an aleph, this is a base, and you get, if you have the tenacity to do that, so then great. The nafkamina is chelik toiv, chelik ra is how much more you're going to learn in this world. You know what? He's going to become a Rosh Yeshiva because Lamaisa he chaps things for states this quickly. So if he's oisik up to his full breadth in his whole life, then it's a chelik toiv just in helping him learn more. But if you have two people, one is a Baron, a brilliant Sheva brilliant, and one is not the Baron. Mamish not brilliant, super brilliant. They both work their whole time. Rav Aaron Lamaisa puts out the entire Mishna of Aaron on Nach and on all and on Hashkafa and on everything, and he saves the Klal Yisrael. And this other guy goes ahead, and by the end of his life, he finishes. The first Perek of Mesilas Yesharim. So then, they're both going to get the same schar. Rav Aaron, there might be collateral schar. That's a different shayla. But for themselves, it's the same schar. Why? Because they were both oisik 100%. So chelik toiv, chelik ra doesn't mean tzaddik. It just means it's easier to become a gadol b'Torah and oisik in Torah if you're a Baron. If you are a super basketball star, let's say there was a mitzvah to play basketball. So if you're really good at it, we know you're going to be playing much more. You're going to be up at 5 a.m. Why? Because you also are an NBA star. There's a whole bunch of things totally in it. So even on a bad day, you're still going to be learning. That's what's called a chelik toiv. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily it means you have a better portion, a better chance of steiging the entire time. Now, in Shemayim, they might decrease some of the merits because of that. Yeah, you had to learn today. This other guy didn't have to, so it's still from Sar Agra. Everything's taken into cheshbon. But this is still called the chelik toiv, and this is called the chelik ra. Everybody still has the opportunity, though, to completely steig. And a person who steigs, even though he's not becoming the Rosh Yeshiva, adrabah, he gets even more. That's on the Fum Tsar Agra type of cheshbon. Okay. What time do we have? All right, let's stop over here. And